Thank you, but there's a small misunderstanding, because we're starting with a video and audio presentation about the project with my mate Simon Doggedale, who was also a part of the project before. So please, before you will be tired of listening to me, enjoy this, because this is really good.
Hard to say what it is we're actually doing, because it's hard to grasp, you know. What we do in big words is about empowerment and conflict prevention, and I mean, it's hard to see how that inflicts on the children here. What I have been able to see is that they are really, really happy that we come. They really get into the music, and every place for every of the different workshops, we get at least 6 guys or girls who are really, really into it, and who's just sucking everything in and are really good at what they're doing. And that's amazing. That's a lot more than I expected. And it's something that applies equally to boys and girls. I mean, in a place like this, you see the girls rapping their butts off, and I mean, giving really just being way better than the boys, and they can feel, okay, I can be something even though I'm a girl in this conservative community, and I can be something even though I'm a Palestinian who's excluded from a lot of things in society. Of course, there's differences from Lebanon to Jordan, but in a way they are still, even in Jordan, a low-class, deprived people. Last year there was a sheikh in Nahabarat who asked me, do you really think my people need this? And I was thinking about what to answer, and I said, well, yeah, I really do, because man can't live by the belly alone. And it's important to feed these youngsters with some sort of hope and a window to the outside world through the music. At the end of the day, it's about that it feels right, and everybody tells me and tells us here, oh, they really like it, and it's right. But I think that the music can offer something, because it's also a window and an inclusion in a global youth culture of DJing.
You want to speak, you have a message, you know. I have a message, I want everyone to hear my message. It's not about rap or hip-hop, it's about express yourself, you know. It's a way to, you know, to scream, because you have problem inside, you have so many ideas, you know. It's a good way to do some good things.
Can create hope and release and make people think. With rap and DJ, we can just do something with the kids that they will discharge the hate, and they will maybe learn something new and open a door for them to have the hope, maybe. Since 48, Palestinians are living the same areas, the same boundaries, and every day the life is becoming harder. the highest statistics, the highest number of ones of dead people on daily basis in Palestine, and we're still surviving and we're still reproducing and so on. Because we love to live, and we will live, I think. This is our only weapon.
No electricity. There's no electricity.
My dream for future is to return to Palestine. This workshop is very important because it can give us a new kind of jobs that it not need the Lebanese government or need the right. So we can, because it's special, we can work it in the weddings and centers and any kind of thing. Also, this workshop is very important about the situation, the Palestinian situation, because we live in a dark situation, like all the time sad, all the time sad. So we see all the streets sad now. Let's go to change this sad, to make music and to be happy and to dance and to make songs and to play DJ. This is
I don't have any hope in Lebanon as a Palestinian refugee live here. There's no rights for us, no civil rights, no job we can't own. We are forbidden from 73 careers we can't work in as a doctor, as engineer. This is a shame. After 61 years, they should really find serious solutions for what is going on towards the Palestinians who are living in Lebanon as a refugee camps, especially in Lebanon. As you can see, like water, wires, electricity pump, electricity water, electricity and water together, this is dangerous. Like for education, it's very important. People here, they love education. So like, they let their children have good education, because we'll have like good future. This is our weapon, actually. Education is our weapon. Last workshop we did this year, actually they have good abilities that they express themselves through this DJ music, they sing. Some of them they write like part of text, like rap. And the others, they like to dance, they like to put their own music. I think by time, yes, I think it will be a good chance for them.
We live far from our land, and our land is occupied, so we need to give more and more always to liberate and to return to Palestine. For this season, I see it's very necessary and important to work with the new generation, with these kids. So from my activity, what we are doing, I think it's very important to see them smile at least a few hours in the center. Because maybe in the school or in their homes or in the street, they can't. But in my center, I'm sure that they're keeping their smile.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this was a sneak peek of a documentary done by Simon Weil that was all conducted on the turntables. Even the audio and the video went through there. So Simon did all this. So let's just hear a big round of applause for them. When I was preparing this presentation, my wife told me, don't tell it, show it. And I mean, this was as close as we could get without bringing a lot of refugees on stage. And I mean, these people, they cannot travel like you because they're stateless Palestinians, so they cannot move freely around the world because then they cannot get back in and have to survive in airports and stuff around the world. So unfortunately, we couldn't bring them here today, and we would also have to bang our heads against the most rigid immigration regime in Europe, which is not easy. So this was it. I mean, but you will have to stick with me for the rest of it. There's no more showing. It will only be me telling. So I hope you won't grow too tired of me. But the video and audio was meant to give you a better impression what Turntables in the Camps is about. And Turntables in the Camps is a project that aims to create a creative space for marginalized refugee youth. So far, it could be marginalized youth elsewhere, but up until now, we've been focusing on Palestinian refugees in Lebanon and Jordan. To meet this aim, we have so far, through the past 13 months, we have conducted 10 rap and DJ workshops in Lebanon and Jordan for more than 150 young refugees, and we have set up 2, in a few days it will be 3, DJ schools or DJ labs in the refugee camps. And this has been done mostly thankful to the great crew behind the project, which is, I mean, the film was shot by Simon Weyer, our last round of workshops in September with the Danish DJ crew, which I'm a part of, that's called Den Sorte Skole, and the Danish DJ crew Ladybox and MC Tia. So that has been a huge contributor, but I will get back to that later. When I started preparing this presentation, I saw my task as I had to persuade you that we're doing some good in the world. And I started thinking about how can I do this. And to my surprise, the process of preparation resembled the process that the project has actually gone through, which has been very much, I mean, it's been very much made up as it went along. And so it went with my presentation. So it has turned a little bit around, and I've decided to give you a very honest account of how this project was developed, and then you'll see if you like it or not in the end. This is under a sort of umbrella thing that could be called cultural development. And cultural development projects is often only visible to people engaged in cultural development. There's a lot of beautiful lingo, a lot of words to dress this in. And I think it resembles a little bit like the story by Hans Christian Andersen about the Emperor's New Clothes, that there is a lot of beautiful things to be said, but mostly these cultural development ventures, they're as full as hot air, and they're not wearing anything like the Emperor himself. In the past, I've been very, very skeptical about these things, and I never thought I would actually engage into a cultural development project, but here I am, convincing you that it's doing something good. I remain a skeptic after I have been into the process and down the rabbit hole, but I believe that it's possible to craft a fabric that is visible and actually able to clad these beautiful words about empowerment and development through culture and dialogue with a bit of substance. But still, I'm asking myself the question continuously, is Turntables in the camps wearing anything? And instead of trying to convince you that, I'll tell you the tale about the story, and then you can, at the end, you can decide if I'm naked or not. As a working title, I decided to call it From Helping Myself to self-help. And the idea from the project, that was no altruistic motive behind in the beginning. It was me living in Beirut, and I wanted my crew to get down and play some concerts there. And there was plenty of people who were interested in getting this weird Danish DJ constellation down there, but nobody really wanted to pump a lot of money into it. So I started thinking, besides the obvious benefit that everybody gets out of hearing our music, what would we have to offer? And I started searching the field of what was out there, what was done. And in Lebanon and in the Middle East for the past years, the Danish Center for Culture and Development has been quite active in doing a lot of these cultural development projects. And I called them, and in the beginning they said, den sorte skole, the black school who? And I tried to say, hey, we're this thing, and they were not really interested. But after a couple of days, they called me back and said, okay, we can have a meeting, and we sat down and discussed what can we do here. And on the meeting, we started discussing about workshops that could be done, DJ workshops and stuff. And they were keen on funding some sort of musical dialogue project, but I mean, for me, I was again very skeptical, because what I had seen was just Danish artists and stuff getting to the Middle East, getting a nice little trip, going down there, saying some blah blah blah. But from my point of view, it didn't move anything, and I've been watching a lot of those things. But I still really wanted to do these concerts, so I just started discussing it with people I knew from the NGO world in Beirut, people who were working with Palestinians. And they all really encouraged me to push forward to do something for the refugee youth, since there is no project out there. Now most of the money goes to projects for the elderly or for children. So the youth, which is, I mean, like in the rest of the Arab world, the demographic pyramid is very much above. There's a huge youth generation growing up without anything to do. And it's even it's the same in the refugee camps. Yes, and I was also aware of the terrible conditions that Palestinian refugees live under in Lebanon, especially, where because of rigid working laws and a lot of history that I won't get into now. But by law, they cannot take more than 100 jobs, and basically they're living in open prisons in their camps where they can do a little bit of construction work, but they're not allowed to take real work and take action and get out of their situation as such. Because there is no perspective of a better tomorrow for the youth, the hunger for the outside world, and they always ask you, how can I get out of here? And what can we do? And they're looking to their relatives living abroad as refugees, and they surf the internet and see what is available for the youth in the rest of the world, but they're just locked down, and that's also why they couldn't be here today. Through my education and my prior work, and of course being married to a person who has been engaged in youth empowerment and such, I knew already, I had a good understanding of all the buzzwords and how to craft sort of an application that would have a good idea to go through. But I really felt like a crook. You know, I had a foul taste in my mouth, sitting there writing about empowerment and playing the gender card. And I mean, I felt like the tricksters in the tale of the Emperor's New Clothes, that is, you know, creating a castle in Spain and just selling it off because I wanted to do something else. And because I thought along the way, because I was maybe cynical, that how could anything that we did help to, I mean, create anything or create a better tomorrow for a very marginalized group of young refugees. The turning point, like that was mentioned in the film, I guess, was one day I went up to a camp up north of Lebanon called Nahabadet. And I talked to this local guy that I really needed because I needed his center. We needed 2 centers to do workshop for girls and workshop for boys. And I told him blah, 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 my story about and this and that. And then he said, I mean, do you really think that my people living in containers in a camp that has been 95% destroyed by government artillery, do you really think that we need this music mumbo jumbo? And to my own surprise, I told him that I believed that this was exactly what the youth needed here, because it's so a seed of hope or a better tomorrow. And that can sound very hollow too, but I mean, the idea was that man can't live by the belly alone, to quote Bob Marley. But I mean, these people living in a desperate situation, if they have no window to the outside, if they have no way to look, I mean, and especially the youth, then there is only despair and desperation left. Mohammed seems satisfied with my answer, but from that day on, I have been asking myself his own questions. What is it that we do? I mean, what exactly is going on here? We would like to do a couple of DJ workshops. I mean, are we just doing something that the sponsors thinks is a trendy, fashionable thing? And going over these questions in my head back from Nahabada through the 7 military checkpoints back to Beirut, I came up, it actually dimmed in the back of my head, and I found some peace with myself in that providing these young boys and girls with a creative space and a window to the outside world, however small, a sense of inclusion we give them in a global youth culture about DJing, it is justifiable in itself. Making it happen was a totally different story. I mean, making it happen has very much been a venture of... short on time? Bollocks. It has been very much about making it up as we went along. And it has been very much about, for me, to make the right partners. And you can go a long way with micromanagement, because everything has to be micromanaged intensely. In Lebanon especially, but also Jordan. But it has been a particular challenge to find local partners, and I have spent a huge amount of time doing this and doing all the logistics. But I mean, in network theory or in a good pyramid scheme, it's always about linkage and about that you have to create more links as you go along. And I have been very fortunate meeting the right people all the way. And so I've been very lucky that the DCCD had the trust in the project. And I have been very lucky that I engaged with some Danish people that has been marvelous. The people from Den Sorte Skole and Ladybugs has really carried this project a long way, because one thing is doing all the logistics, another thing is standing there in front of a bunch of refugees and actually doing this this thing that you had no idea what the day would end up with when you're doing it. So I have to give a great thanks to this, because without them it could not be possible, and it has been a huge effort. Before I'm getting my legs cut out under me, I will cut it short, and to round up, I have to say that to answer my fashion question from the beginning about whether I'm half dressed or half naked, I believe that the Turntables is partly dressed, and that but we have a long way to go. And tomorrow I'm leaving for the Middle East to inaugurate a new DJ school in a women's center in Amman. And if I can find the funding, we will be able to do workshops to train trainers in the future. And I will make it up to you as I leave the stage. I'm almost pushed out of the books here, but I will leave it up to you to decide whether this is naked or half dressed. And of course, there's a lot more to be said. but I will take my watch and piss off. Thank you very much.